What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we are going to be showcasing one of the most hyped games of 2023, a game that is absolutely exploding right now, and that is Remnant 2. Just anecdotally, the amount of people I've seen post about it on Twitter, for example, like my friend Mtash, who is loving it. Huge streamers like Asmongold are playing it and enjoying it, and as of the time I'm recording this, just now, it became the #1 top-selling game on Steam, and it's not even technically out yet. It is still in early access. And by the way, huge thank you to Gearbox Studios for sponsoring me and letting me gain access to this game early so I could bring you guys this video. And of course, if you want to check out the game for yourself, just click the link in the description down below. So, in this video, we're going to be just talking about what Remnant 2 is all about, the features it brings to the table, and why everyone's kind of freaking out about it. So, first of all, this is a little bit of a hard game to describe. It's actually a Souls-like game, and I know that term Souls-like is used quite a bit, but it really does apply to Remnant 2. So if you're a fan of the Dark Souls franchise, games like Elden Ring, you want that challenge, you want these epic boss fights where one wrong move could result in your death, Remnant 2 really brings that to the table, but it also has several features that differentiate it from other Souls-like games, mainly guns. That's right, instead of the usual formula of magic and swords, you're actually using light machine guns, shotguns, sniper rifles to take down these challenging enemies and epic bosses. So if you're someone like me who comes from a shooting games background, you like first-person shooters, you have good gun skill, you can finally bring those talents into a Souls-like game, which I think is very, very cool. Like, I love shooters, so having that aspect honestly really helped me get into the game. Now, in addition to that, it also does have some looting aspects. I wouldn't go so far as to call it an actual looter shooter, although technically you could apply that label to it, but mainly you're going out into the world, you're looting these different chests, and instead of getting actual loot like a brand new weapon, you're getting resources to upgrade your weapons. Funny enough, like after a while of playing, I hadn't gotten like a single weapon drop. I go to the just guy selling weapons, and he has a ton of different options on offer. Undoubtedly, you will end up looting more weaponry and more armor as you get further into the game. I'm also trying to avoid a little bit of spoilers for you guys because this game is becoming so popular. A lot of you guys are probably, going to get it. But yeah, although it does have a looting element, don't think of it as a traditional looter like Destiny, The Division, Borderlands, where you're just getting so much raw gear. In fact, the way this game does give you gear is very interesting. You're not really going to find new gear pieces out of chests, but rather you're going to see them in the world. Like, as you can see right here, I'm in this dungeon and I see like a purple rarity piece of gear. Now in this game, that purple rarity is not the normal purple rarity we think of from looters, rather it seems to just denote like a piece of gear that you can slot onto your character. And as you can see, when I go and pick it up, this crazy orb comes alive and starts following me all around this dungeon. If I get close, it damages me, so now I've got to like backtrack and run away from this orb, get out of this dungeon alive to keep my gear. And that is another very important part of this game. So if you die, you kind of lose everything that you've gotten up until that point since you last reached a checkpoint. And checkpoints in this game are done very interestingly. If you are a Souls fan, you probably know where this is going. But around the map, there are these checkpoint crystals. Now, just walking by them, you can see in the bottom left corner of your screen will save your checkpoint. So if you walk by one of these crystals, checkpoint saved, you go and die, you're going to respawn here with whatever you had at that point. However, you can actually interact with these checkpoint crystals, and that is actually going to refill your ammunition, all of your health potions. However, it will respawn all of the enemies on the map. So you can go save, like reset, and then fight your way back out, but the game actually uses this mechanic very intelligently. Usually they'll put these checkpoint crystals like at the beginning of a dungeon. So you go, you save there, you refresh everything, the enemies are already spawned, so it doesn't really matter. You go in, you go as deep into this dungeon as you can, perhaps you find a boss, and again, often there's a checkpoint crystal at the boss, but sometimes you then have to make a decision, like, am I going to checkpoint and re-up all my gear before facing this boss, then I have to fight my way out of the dungeon? Do I want to risk it for the biscuit? And I love that aspect of it. Now, these boss fights, again, are very intense. They have huge health pools, they absolutely schmack, so you're gonna have to time your evades properly to survive. They're very much traditional Souls-like bosses. If you are able to take them down, however, you will get kind of unique items, and you can take these items back to create like weapon aspects. So I'll spoil one boss here for you guys. I was fighting this little skittering creature that would jump onto other guys and kind of control them, and I had to take this guy down. Once I did, I got the like carapace, the insectoid body, and when I took that back and got the weapon mod made for it, it actually created this thing that would shoot out like a little grenade launcher that would then explode and create 5 insectoid aliens that would then jump on my enemies, doing actually a pretty decent amount of damage. So the actual boss that I fought, this little insectoid guy, I got a weapon mod that would turn my weapon into something very akin, something along the same theme as the boss I just beat, and that is super, super cool. Now, by this point in the background gameplay, I'm sure you've noticed that beside my character is always a very, very good boy. That's right, a dog, and that's because I chose the handler archetype, the handler class, because Remnant 2 is also, in its roots, an RPG. So I could choose from a medic to provide myself and my teammates with a ton of healing, and let's take a stop right there. That's right, this game has multiplayer. Now, I've played solo the entire time because it's early access. My friends are all doing their own thing if they do have this game, but you can get 2 of your friends to hop into your world and all help you take down that big boss you're stuck on, which is a fantastic thing. Now, in any event, after the medic, you can also choose the hunter, where your accuracy will provide great benefits. Pair this with a sniper rifle to provide a long range and stealthy playstyle, or you could even go with the challenger, suited out with a kit of armor. You're gonna have huge survivability, and this would be the best role for a melee focused build. Because yeah, even though you have access to guns, there's also a huge amount of melee weapons. In fact, earlier in the video, you saw me loot a rocket-propelled sledgehammer with a special ability where if I used the charge attack, it would speed up further melee attacks, and you can actually do a ton of work with melee weapons in this game, and there's also lots of different benefits in terms of gear that accentuate your melee capabilities, and considering there's also an ammo economy, and I would actually really say that I like the ammo economy. It was just enough scarcity that I was not going spray and pray all the time. I had to think about my ammo, I had to switch weapons, but it wasn't so scarce that I couldn't have any fun. But again, because there are ammo limitations, having a powerful melee weapon or the ability to do melee damage, take down guys with your melee that has infinite ammo and then loot the bullets they drop, is a very viable strategy. After that, guys, we have the handler, where you have your companion dog that can attack enemies, it can provide you healing, it can even revive you. So obviously I went with that, because goodness knows I'm going down in a game like this. Now, of course, you can level up within your chosen archetype to unlock more skills and perks, and you're also going to find like skill tomes around the world that you can use to upgrade things like your health, stamina, etc. And then combine all of that with the different weapons and gear you can equip, the different upgrades and mods you can put on that gear, the fact that you can have like 4 different rings at the same time, each ring providing very interesting bonuses. The one I mentioned earlier that I rescued from the Sphere of Death, well, that one is actually going to give me like health back when I'm hit with damage. I have other rings that increase my reload speed. One is really sweet. When I pick up ammo, it's going to provide me with a little bit of a shield so I can like take a hit of damage and not fully go into my health. I've also got an amulet slot, and then underneath my health object, as you can see, I can choose between different shards that provide percent bonuses to different aspects of my build depending on what I'm trying to do. So there actually is a pretty darn good degree of build customization within Remnant 2. And then guys, the last thing I need to mention is the world building, the atmosphere. The first alien planet you go to is just like so dark and creepy. You have these massive megalithic alien structures that look so darn cool. You're winding your way through these like twisty corridors, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, there's some jump scares. I might have jumped a couple times playing this game because enemies will kind of come out and attack you when you least expect it, and that's paired with a huge build in the music, and you're kind of like, oh crap, when there's more powerful enemies coming at you, the music is super intense, your heart's pounding. You know, even with the basic enemies, one attack could, get away half of your health if you're not paying attention, and any mistake could lead to your downfall, which is, part of the reason why these Souls games are so popular. Just that intensity is always there, even when you're fighting, the basic red bars of this game. And honestly, that intensity is helped with the factor of the unknown, and part of that is just because it's my first time playing this game, but another part is that the objectives in Remnant 2 are rather vague. It really encourages you to go out and explore and see what you can find. There isn't, a clear objective marker, go exactly here, so you know exactly which path you have to take. You don't know if you're in the right building or dungeon or wherever you are. You don't know if you're supposed to be here. Am I in an area where there's a really tough enemy and I don't know? Or am I in an area that I'm not supposed to be? And that degree of like, I don't know what's going on really helps build that intensity. However, it's not like you're walking around aimlessly. The entire gameplay loop is very satisfying in the sense that if you do find yourself in a dungeon, you fight your way through, you beat that boss, you get that piece of loot, go to any one of those checkpoint crystals and you just teleport back to town. You can go there, upgrade your gear, apply those new mods, all of that stuff. There's a firing range. You can test out whatever crazy new mod you just applied. And then once you've done those upgrades, you're more powerful, you fast travel back in to one of those crystals and go from there. Like, that is a very satisfying gameplay loop. You push forward, you get some loot, you go back, you become more powerful, and then you keep your journey going forward from there. And so guys, there you have it, a look at the brand new Remnant 2 game. If you found this interesting, if you think the game looks cool, remember to click the link in the description down below to check it out for yourself. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, found it informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Remnant 2 content, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.